everyone, it's Shari Carroll for SimonsStamp.com, and I have a project that I've created using the flip frame from Tim Holtz. This is a really fun frame to work with. The frame is about 4 by 5 and it comes on a stand, and it also has these rings that sit at the top, and there's grooves at the very top that hold them in place, and then you can go ahead and put a project inside. And I figured out that this tag works out really perfectly. I folded over about 1.5 inches on the back, or 1.25 inches. And so how you would work this together is to go ahead and design your tag or your piece, and then you'll hang it from the top 2 rings, and then you can add more to it and flip it over to show different pieces. So I'm starting off with the Tim Holtz. These are the little postcards, and there's all different sizes and different colors, and they're really nice and durable. So I'll be designing a collage on my tag here using my multi-matte medium. But first I want to glue down my folded over flap on the back side so I can get this nice and flat. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some matte medium to both sides of that. And I'm just using the one that has the brush that already comes with it, so I don't have to worry about using a different paintbrush. So once I have enough of my matte medium on there, I can go ahead and press that down and let that dry. Now I'll start adding some of my matte medium to the front, and I initially thought that I might be inking up my papers once I had them laid down, so I was really careful not to get any of my matte medium on the top. So for now I'm just going to go ahead and lay these on top. And I'm speeding this up a bit so that it won't take as much time, but I'm just making sure I have these really well glued down. Right now I'm using a paper towel to kind of burnish that onto that card a little bit because I get matte medium on my fingers all the time. So I'm going to start kind of piecing things together. I want to make sure those butterflies show up really nicely, so I'm adding some matte medium to the back and just making sure I have a really nice coating of that. I will overlap some of these slightly because of the rounded corners, so I want everything to kind of sit and have no openings where those rounded corners are. So I'm going to let everything kind of hang off the sides as I get this going on, and I'm just adding the glue or the matte medium to where I need it onto the project there. And I'm not worried about that little tag holder or the tag circle at the bottom. I'm going to glue right over that, and I'm making sure everything is really straight by flipping that over, and then the final piece will go down in the corner. So for that I'll just put a little bit more matte medium just down in that corner of that paper, and I can go ahead and lay that in place. Now I'm going to let these sit and dry, and then I'll go ahead and trim it up with my scissors. I have my picket fence distress paint, and I'm painting over my word band, and the word is authentic. And I'm making sure that I get all the paint inside that word, and I'm just kind of rubbing it back and forth, and the word that sits engraved in there will just pick up on that paint. And I'll let that set for a few minutes before I wipe it down. Also, I'm going to use the picket fence paint on my tag a little bit just to kind of distress the edges. You could also use a sanding block or other sandpaper just to kind of distress it out a little bit. So I'm kind of fading it out just slightly. And next I'm just running a paper towel over my word band and wiping off the paint that sits on the top, and it really makes those letters pop out. I've decided to add a little ephemera, and this is a dance ticket from the ephemera pack, also from Tim Holtz, and I'm just adding some of my multi-matte medium to the back side of that. I also have a couple strips of the tissue tape there, which I'll be adding, and I've torn off particular pieces of my tissue tape that I do want to add to that. So once I have my matte medium on my dance ticket, I can go ahead and just press that down. And this theme of this tag is going to be for my granddaughter Melody, and she always dances to music, so this is going to be a really kind of sentimental piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put the finger or the hand down pointing the finger, and that's going to point at her photograph that I'll end up using. And then the ABC just kind of represents like childhood learning and the ABCs. So I'll just go ahead and place these down, and when I'm done I'll run my matte medium over the top of those, and that'll help seal them up so they won't peel up later. It was at this point that I decided I'm not going to ink over the top, so I'm going to go ahead and use my multi-matte medium over the entire piece so that it'll have a nice uniform finish to it, and it'll also hold everything in place, and then I can go ahead and add my photograph and other fun embellishments to the top. Once I had my tag well covered, it's not quite dry yet, but I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my mirrored stars. And I really love the matte medium because you can use it for your papers and also for adding in all your little embellishments on top. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3 stars. I have a larger one in the center and 2 smaller ones off to the side. And those will sit just kind of cattywampus from that ABC. You can color your stars with your alcohol inks if you want, but I thought for this project they looked really nice, just being nice and crystal clear. The mini numerals worked out really perfect for this project too, because the picture I'm putting on here is Melody at 6 months old. So I have a chance to use the 1/2 on my numbers, which was really fun to be able to signify a half a year. The next thing I'm adding is my photograph, and I've just printed this on my toner printer so I know that it'll take the matte medium on the top. And I've also printed it onto a heavier cardstock so that it sits nice and flat on my card. And I'm just making sure that I get enough matte medium on the back to where it won't bubble up so that I get a really nice flush mount. I've added a heart charm to the word band, and I've just used a jump ring to hook that on. These charms are really fun to work with and they're really easy, so you peel off a sticker that you want, and I've chosen Heart Song, which really goes with the musical theme of the tag that I'm working with. So once you have your sticker, you go ahead and place it into the frame and make sure that you line it up really well. And most of the time what we would usually do is use glossy accents, but these come with a really nice clear plastic heart that's already cut and formed perfectly to fit over top, so it's ready to go right away. So it looks like it has that bubble of glossy accents in there. Right now I'm pressing it down really well with my thumb and making sure that it's straight. So it looks really nice once that's completed. To finish things up, I've used a couple of the Heirloom roses and also some Industrious stickers, the frames and trims, and I just kind of placed things around the photo and ephemera to give it a little bit of balance. And when the entire piece was dry, I went ahead and suspended it by the rings at the top. And now I can't wait to get started on my second page. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me, and enjoy.